Hello everybody, today I'm on here. In this video I'm going to benchmark Homefront the Revolution on a single GTX 970 paired with a Core i7-860. This video is recorded with an external recorder at 60 frames per second, so what you will see in this video will be pure performance. No system resources are wasted for the recording itself. The Core i7-860 is overclocked to 4 GHz. Let me push it a bit. There it is. The system has 12 GB of memory and the graphics card is a single GTX 970, a Gigabyte G1 model. Latest force were installed and it is also overclocked in order to boost at 1.5 GHz. Sorry about that. I'm going to use fraps to collect frame rate data, and we will see the result in this file and some analysis with flat at the end of the video. So let me launch the game and let's see how it performs. I have already uploaded a video of this game on my GTX 1070 and Core i5 2500. So we are going to use these to compare. Options first. I'm using the same options as I did on my GTX 1070 video with the 2500K, sub-pixel morphological anti-aliasing, no temporal anti-aliasing. Actually, I believe this reduces the rendered resolution. Very high system spec. I'm not going to use vertical sync, of course. And what else? The advanced settings are at very high as the preset stated. So let me go to my benchmarking location. Okay, the game has loaded. I'm starting the benchmark.
red zone. Civilians are not permitted at any time.
Brady, we have reports that the KPA are using this pharmaceutical building as a weapons storage location. Head on over and see what you can find.
CCTV 포스팅을 12세로 이동하라. 상관에게 자세한 내용을 보고하라.
새 업무로 이동 중. 교전. 동지가 당했다. 알겠습니다. 더 안전한 회복이 필요하다. 꿈쩍도 할 수 없으니 동굴의 주의를 풀어주시오. 동감이 여기. 꿈쩍도 할 수 없으니 동굴의 주의를 풀어주시오.
CCTV 포스팅을 12세로 이동하라. 상관에게 자세한 내용을 보고하라.
발사. 새 업무로 이동 중. 꿈쩍도 할 수 없으니 놈들의 주의 좀 끌어주시오.
Looks like our intel was accurate. Those weapons will be very useful. I'll make sure they're distributed amongst our people. Nice find, Brady.
About time. You got it.
Come in, Philly Alpha. What's going on? I'm hearing buzz that a truck was seen entering Lombard. Had a big escort helicopter to work.
Could be it was Walker. We'll look into it.
All right, I'll tell Parrish. Keep me posted.
CCTV 포스팅을 12세로로 이동하라. 상관에게 자세한 내용을 보고하라.
Ned! Anyone! This is Andy! Nork's got us surrounded! We need immediate...
Brady, we tracked Andy's message and you're closest. Marking the transmission source on your phone. Get over there. See if you can help. I'll send support as soon as I can.
Walker. We tried. They win.
Okay, I'm not falling for you again, my friend. I did get a huge frame rate spike at exactly this point on my GTX 1070 benchmark, so it would be nice to see if I will skip it this time. 63 frames per second average frame rate, very decent performance. Frame rate is okay. The frame times are not too bad, but we do have some spikes at some points. GPU usage is maxed out at 99%, no CPU limits on this run. CPU usage was medium on all cores. Logical and hyper-threaded ones seem to make close to 50% at some points, so we are probably looking at very high CPU usage on the logical cores, but it seems to be half that due to the hyper-threaded ones on the physical cores, sorry, but due to the logical ones the CPU usage seems to be lower. CPU temps are okay for 4 GHz, not too bad. GPU temps are also good at about the same level. 5.2 gigabytes of system RAM usage, 1.5 GHz for the core clock of the video card, 2.9 gigabytes of video RAM usage, about the same as in the GTX 1070 video. Sorry about that. And let's see. GTX 970 i7-860. Aha. I want what this RAM is the GTX 970, and since I am here, let me also load up my 1070 RAM, which is on the other drive. And I want the Homefront, this one. Okay, so we have a 63 frames per second average for the 970 and 100% average for the GTX 1070. %59 faster is the GTX 1070 system. One of the larger performance deltas, around 60% is what the highest delta between the two cards is normally. So let's stick with a 970 since this is the benchmark we want right now. Indeed, I missed the huge spike at the end of the benchmark, but I did get a huge spike in the middle of the benchmark. That's okay. However, the frame times are not crazy bad. We do have some stuttering, of course, but thankfully they are hovering at close to the 16 millisecond threshold, so they are not too bad. Time spent beyond 16.7 milliseconds are higher than I expected at 36%. I did not see that coming, to tell you the truth. The histogram of the frame times does indeed show that we do have a lot of frame times above 16 milliseconds at 17, 18, 19 and 20, but thankfully they are not way above 16 milliseconds, they are close to 16 milliseconds. So overall the game is quite playable for my taste. This is the run of the GTX 1070, which ended up a little longer than the 970, and this is the huge spike I told you about. Overall the frame times, however, are clearly better on the 1070 system, a lot better actually, hovering around 10 milliseconds, while the 970 hovers around 16 milliseconds. Both systems are very playable, of course, no serious problems. We can see here the frame rate of the 1070 and the 970 in the black. Very different, of course. I believe the middle battle is the one that made the 1070 benchmark a little longer, but that's okay. Min, max and average is, as you can see, this is why I'm telling everybody that the minimum frame rate is not very important. As you can see, in my GTX 1070 video, for some strange reason I have a lower minimum frame rate, but that's not important because clearly the 1070 system is a lot faster, and we will see exactly that in a minute in the percentiles. Until then, variability and stuttering, lower variability on the 1070, but with a little higher stuttering, nothing too serious. So this is the most important graph if you are to compare two different systems or two different graphics cards. It is the percentiles. You can clearly see the whole frame times graph from in percentages of milliseconds, and we can see that the 1070 is a lot faster than the 970, exactly what the average frame rate suggests, about 60% faster, and that's why the average frame rate is the most important frame rate number, but it needs to be accompanied with these graphs, the percentiles and the histogram and that stuff, so we can have an accurate picture of how the frame rate works in these systems. Time spent beyond curves, 1070, 970. I think there is something weird here. Yes, there is something weird here. These graphs are a little buggy from time to time. And finally, of course, the comparable frame rate, 80 frames per second versus 53 for the 970. We have 51% difference here, still a great difference, and the variability in the yellow and the stuttering in the red, they do seem higher, maybe due to the larger graph. Yes, the percentage should be about the same, not very important. I don't know, this game has received a lot of criticism. It seems okay to me, not the greatest game ever created. If you take out the propaganda, as a shooter game with missions and some RPG elements, it's not too bad. In any case, this is my opinion. However, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you find it interesting, at least in the technical aspect. I will see you on my next one. Until then, take care.